Good afternoon, everybody. Good morning if you're on the West Coast, and welcome to today's Media Pro webinar covering how to access and buy programmatic guaranteed direct inventory in SRDS.com. My name is Mike Morrow. I'm the Content and Online Marketing Director for Kantar Media SRDS, and I am joined today by Tina Stevens, one of our corporate trainers who many of you I'm sure already know very well. I'm excited to have you join us as we learn more about programmatic buying, particularly guaranteed direct, often also referred to as automated guaranteed. We wanted to make sure that you're getting the most out of your subscription to SRDS.com and understand how you can now access and click to buy programmatic inventory, in addition to the ways you can already buy direct from web publishers or through third-party ad tech companies like networks and exchanges. After today, we hope you'll have a solid foundation on how to conduct programmatic buying via SRDS.com. And we do have a lot to cover today, a lot of content, but we've only scheduled 30 minutes of your time. So in order to keep things moving, make sure we get through everything, I do respectfully ask that everyone please mute your phone line. We're going to do our best to accommodate some time for questions at the end of the session, so please submit your questions as you have them via the WebEx chat box privately to the host, and we'll address them as best we can today. Otherwise, we'll try our best to answer them on our blog and make sure that we'll reach out to you one-on-one just to make sure that we get you answers to your questions. We will also send you a link with the recording from today's session, and you'll be able to find that link alongside some of the other great new resources we've added when you first sign in to SRDS.com. Okay? So with all of that business and logistics out of the way, let me welcome you all again to today's webinar, and let's get started. Tina, I'm going to turn it over to you, so please take it away.
Thank you, Mike, and thank you all again for your time and attention. I'm excited to be able to share this new programmatic data and search functionality with you all. This is particularly exciting because many of our users may be interested in exploring programmatic buying, but need more knowledge about how it works and context around why they should buy this way. We hope to help. Through SRDS.com, you can actually access programmatic data and available inventory. How have we made that possible? Well, this year we partnered with a number of guaranteed direct platforms and other third-party buy channels, including Rubicon Project, Pubmatic, iSocket, BuySellAds, AdSlot, OpenX, and Shiny Ads. That means you'll be able to access, compare, and ultimately buy multiple programmatic ad packages from hundreds of publishers via these platforms right from SRDS.com. Currently, the data you'll find online is from iSocket, BuySellAds, and Shiny Ads. Our other partners' inventory data is coming later this year. As I've been reaching out to many of you over the last few weeks to schedule trainings with your users on this new feature, some of you have said, "I'm traditional," or "We have a digital team that handles this," or you digital folks have said, "We already have our programmatic resources in place." Even if you haven't dabbled in digital or programmatic, this new information is extremely valuable to all of you. Why? Because guaranteed direct buying is extremely efficient and cost-effective, and I'm sure you're always looking for ways to save time and money. Whether you're traditional, integrated, or digital, or you have an agency trading desk, you should be interested in this functionality because it puts some of the digital buying control back in your hands. If you're a traditional planner, use this resource to get cross-platform experience. Technology is making traditional buying easier. Don't get left behind. Maybe you have a separate digital team. Then share this resource so they can make transparent buys easily and cost-effectively. If you're an integrated planner, use SRDS.com as the single resource for all your buying needs. You have access to real inventory that can be bought programmatically. Don't get bogged down in the RFP process when it comes to digital buying. Digitize your I/O process, make real buys, and you can even download and print inventory reports. Plus, you digital folks, even if you have programmatic resources in place, SRDS.com is now one of them, and it's very different than any other. We've compiled and standardized digital ad inventory and pricing from hundreds of sites and published it in SRDS.com for you to click to purchase. It's transparent, efficient, and flexible for you to use. As a digital subscriber, you already have access to this, so no change. You just need to know how to take advantage of it. Unlike the last programmatic webinar we hosted last month, which covered the fundamentals around many types of programmatic buying, this session is specifically focused on how to do guaranteed direct buying. We'll be looking at the different ways to get to the programmatic information through SRDS.com and what you can do with that information. While what I'm going to take you through is functionality, I do want to touch on a couple of definitions to set the stage. When I refer to programmatic buying, it essentially means using technology to get your digital ad where it needs to be in a more automated way. There are different types of programmatic buying, and what SRDS.com offers is guaranteed direct, as well as private marketplace buying through our partner providers. When I refer to guaranteed direct, it refers to the automated direct sale of reserved ad inventory between a buyer and seller. Essentially, it's a more technological, automated, and streamlined version of the direct sales process. The inventory is saved and available until it's purchased on by a buyer. This is close to buying digital inventory direct, but in a more automated fashion. The price you see is negotiable, but the inventory itself is guaranteed. Once the buy is made, your ad is slotted directly to the publisher's ad server. There are many benefits for you to have guaranteed direct inventory accessible in SRDS.com. The first is transparency. As you may know, when you work with an ad exchanger network, the buying is often blind. You don't always know the publisher you're buying from or where your ad will show up on the site. In Guaranteed Direct, you can choose the publisher, exactly which inventory you'd like to buy, the ad position, the campaign dates, as well as any targeting options offered. It's hard to argue with the benefits of Guaranteed Direct, which brings around the automation. This form of buying digitizes many of the more manual processes involving IOs, which saves you time and effort. Guaranteed direct buying allows you to negotiate with the publisher and puts more control back in your hands. Instead of relying on campaign performance data from the publisher, you can often go through the Guaranteed Direct platform for reports and then optimize from there as needed. Plus, you no longer need to go through a DSP or trading desk to get programmatic inventory. The power is in your hands. Guaranteed Direct is a fast, easy way to buy high-quality, well-defined ad space directly from publishers. We know that some buyers still have some hesitancy around programmatic buying, and that's okay. This is a very new space that is changing rapidly. SRDS has been around for almost 100 years, and it's part of our job to help buyers get a handle on new innovations in advertising as they come along. We're confident that this new form of buying will make your job easier and help you create better digital campaigns. As I mentioned, we've integrated publisher inventory from 3 of our Guaranteed Direct partners so far. They are iSocket, Shiny Ads, and BuySellAds. Any user who subscribes to digital in SRDS.com has access to this inventory. There are more than 700 publishers with inventory ready for you to review and potentially buy, and that number continues to grow as we roll in more partners and their publisher data. Which publishers are making their programmatic inventory available to our partners and consequently in SRDS.com? There's really a wide range, which is great for you because there's a high chance that you'll find a site that meets your campaign parameters. There are traditional publishers like Forbes, USA Today, Condé Nast, and Reuters, as well as pure play digital such as MSN.com, Match.com, and Zillow, to name a few. Okay, so with some basics and background out of the way, let's switch over to the website and get in there and start looking at where to find this data and then what you can do with it. Once you log in, if you look over on the left-hand side, you're immediately going to notice that the digital media database is now broken into 3 separate sections. Websites, which is where all 21,000 plus websites that accept advertising are located. This is where you're going to go to find websites to compare and evaluate for direct-to-site buys. Next is the programmatic section, and that's where we're going to be spending our time today. That's where the websites above who have inventory available through our programmatic partners are located. And then finally, networks and tech. This is the area of the database where you're going to find the detailed listings on digital ad tech companies, who they are, what they do, how they work, and in many cases, sites that they've served on. Today we're talking about guaranteed direct buying through SRDS.com. So we're going to select the programmatic section. When the programmatic section loads, in the center of the screen you're going to notice your home base for all things programmatic. This is where you can come to get that knowledge base established and stay on top of things in this ever-changing space. We're going to tell you about buying programmatically through SRDS.com. We're going to tell you how that works. We're going to give you links to our programmatic partner FAQ pages so you can get familiar with who they are and how they work. We're going to give you a link to that Programmatic Fundamentals webinar to help you set that knowledge base. And then we're going to provide links to other industry resources to help you stay on top of your game. We're going to continue to post relevant information here, so check it out on a regular basis. When you go into the programmatic section of the database, just like all of the other SRDS databases, we give you filtering categories to help you narrow down your results to what makes sense for you. You can filter down by platform. All programmatic ad inventory runs on a specific platform. You can filter by ad size. Maybe you have your creative established, so select the size to narrow down based on that information. You can filter by classification, either consumer or business to business, by market, or even by programmatic partner. And once you select your filters, your results load in the center of the screen. Now, your results in the programmatic section come back sorted high to low by compete unique visitor number in the listing. You can resort and review your results in alpha order or by CPM. And while CPM is the most common pricing model in the programmatic section, understand you may see other pricing models as well. Your results are going to show you which websites have programmatic inventory for you to review. We give you the name of the site, and clicking on the name loads the full SRDS listing for you to review in detail. We give you their profiles so you get some insight into audience and content. We give you what their current compete unique visitor number is, as well as some basic pricing information for you to consider. If you see anything of interest, click that pricing details button, and what that does is it loads up a window with the inventory available by provider for that website. So in this case, Baby Center has inventory available through our partner iSocket. If you want more information about iSocket, click the link to their FAQ page or the question mark. We tell you if there are any minimums. We tell you how they sell their inventory. Again, the question mark provides more information as to how they sell their inventory. We tell you what inventory they have available, the size, the location, formats accepted, any targeting options offered, as well as pricing. And again, the question mark provides more insight into the pricing model. Review your options. If you see anything of interest, click Add to Campaign. Add to Campaign is like creating a report in the other SRDS databases. You're setting that inventory aside for you to do something with before you leave the site. The difference between creating a report and adding to campaign is that Add to Campaign is the first step in that buy process, and we'll see more about that in just a minute. Continue to review your options, add anything else of interest to campaign. When you're done, X out of the window, and then continue to review the other options in your results. So let's take a look at how this works using an example. So let's say that our client is interested in displaying their photography services on bridal sites. They want the buys made soon since wedding season is fast approaching, and they ask you about programmatic buying. So you think, I can use SRDS.com. You log in, you select the programmatic section, and when your filtering categories load, you find the bridal classification and select that. When your results load, you have 6 websites that have programmatic inventory for you to review. And before you start making any decisions about what you want to buy, let's take a second and get a good look at minimum spend, ad placement, and creative size for your results. You're going to start by looking at the not.com and click that pricing details button. You're going to see that in this case, iSocket as well as Shiny Ads have inventory available for you to review and consider for the not. Based on conversations with your clients, such as where they want the ad to run, maybe above the fold, and what their budget is, you review your inventory options, you make selections that meet the criteria that's important to you, and when you're done, you X out of that window. Once you go through, you review your other options, you add any other inventory of interest to campaign, you're then going to come to the upper right-hand corner, click on Digital Campaigns, and select Proceed to Order RFP to actually execute those buys. Buying programmatically in SRDS.com can be just that simple. But let's say we're not even there yet. Let's just say that we're in the discovery stages. We're just looking for websites to consider. Well, you can get to the programmatic inventory through the website section of the database as well. So let's go ahead and do a search for websites. We're looking for sites in the business classification, and we're just looking for what are our options there to start reviewing and considering. So when our results load, again, they load in that list view format, that little snapshot overview. When you're in this discovery phase and you're just reviewing your results in the center of the screen, if any of your results have programmatic inventory for you to review, you're going to see that same pricing details information here in your results set. So in addition to the other information in your list view that you may use as you're evaluating your options, you now have this basic pricing information to add to the mix. Plus, if you see something of interest, just click that pricing details button, open up the window, see who has what inventory available at what price. If you see anything of interest, add it to your campaign. When you're done, close out of the window and continue to review your options. So let's take a look at how you can get to that programmatic inventory through the website section using an example as well. And in this example, our client is interested in publicizing their new fitness equipment to exercise trainers and fitness enthusiasts. We're looking for sites to consider, so we're going to go ahead and select the website section of the database. And when our filtering categories load, we're going to go ahead and select the fitness class. Let's say that this client also told us that they have creative already set and their creative is a leaderboard 728 by 90, so we're going to further narrow our results using that filter. And so now we're filtered down to 24 results that meet our criteria. We can certainly go in and take a look at each of those sites, dig deeper, contact them individually to negotiate the buys, or we could scroll down to the last filtering category, programmatic partners, and see who has inventory available programmatically. iSocket and Shiny Ads combined have 11 sites for us to consider. So I'm going to filter down to see what those 11 sites are. And when my results load in the center of the screen, we can see that there's a nice mix of traditional publisher websites like Muscle and Fitness, as well as pure play sites like Livestrong to consider. And then anything that I'm interested in, I can click pricing details, see who has what inventory available at what price, add anything of interest to campaign, close out of the window, and continue to review my options. So even when you're in the discovery phases, you can get to that programmatic inventory and act on it if you choose. So the last way of getting to this programmatic inventory is actually through the listing itself. So I'm going back to that photography client example, and let's say they came to us and said they wanted us to take a look at Wedding Channel's website. And talking and typing at the same time has always been a challenge for me. So let's see if I can get it right this time. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and go to Wedding Channels listing. And when I go into the listing, any website that has inventory available through one of our partners will now have a Programmatic Opportunities tab as part of their full listing detail. And if you click on that Programmatic Opportunities tab, what that's going to do is it's going to load the same information we would see if we would click on the Pricing Details button. So it shows who has what inventory available for that site at what price. Again, I can review my options. I can see if anyone else has inventory. I can add any inventory of interest to campaign. And when I'm done, I can move on and continue my searching. So let's take a second here and just recap the 3 ways to get to this programmatic information through SRDS.com. The first is through the programmatic section. You already know that you're interested in buying inventory programmatically. You're going to go into this section. You're going to select your filters to narrow your results down to what's important to you. You're going to click Pricing Details on those sites of interest to see the inventory available by partner provider and what pricing they offer. You're going to add any inventory of interest to campaign. When you're done, you're going to click to Print, Save, or Buy. You can also get to the inventory through the website section of the database. You're going to go here when you're in those discovery stages. You're looking for sites to consider. You're going to select your filters. Your results are going to load. And as you review your results, any site that has inventory through our providers now has that basic pricing information as part of your list view, as part of that initial evaluation that you're doing as you're reviewing your results for you to just use as you evaluate, or to click that Pricing Details, add any inventory of interest to campaign, and then click to Print, Save, or Buy. Finally, you're going to get to the programmatic information through the listing itself. Do a topic search, do a title search, bring up the listing. If they have inventory available, click the Programmatic Opportunities tab. That's now part of their listing detail to see who has what inventory at what price. Add any inventory of interest to campaign, and click to Print, Save, or Buy. So now we know where to find the information. What can we do with it once we've added it to our campaign? Well, let's go here to the upper right-hand corner of the screen where you see Digital Campaigns and that red button with the number 5 in it. The red button is going to continue to update as you add inventory to your campaign. When you're ready to move forward, click Digital Campaigns. Now, just like if you were creating a report in the other SRDS databases, what this does is it gathers everything that you've set aside by partner provider for you to do a final review, final edit. In the upper right-hand corner of these results, Delete All will delete everything that you've tagged by provider and allow you to start from scratch. The red X here to the right deletes individual tagged inventory from your campaign. The printer icon allows you to print everything on this page that you've set aside. Print within the individual provider's set of inventory will print what you've set aside by provider. Download is going to download what you've set aside for that provider into an Excel spreadsheet. And it's all the detail for every item, inventory item that you have selected. So once I put it into a nice readable format, all of the detail for the inventory, the pricing, etc., is in a format that's easy for you to save, manipulate, share, what have you. Now, if you have inventory for multiple providers set aside and it's for the same campaign, what I suggest that you do is download the first provider's inventory like I've done here. Save this inventory information to a workbook, name it something that makes sense for the campaign or project that you're working on, minimize the workbook, and then download the other provider's information into Excel, copy and paste that information into additional worksheets in this workbook, and then everything will be in one place. Obviously, do what works best for you, but that way you can kind of keep everything together. But really, the most valuable piece of all of this new functionality is the ability for you to actually execute the buy. And you do that by clicking on Proceed to Order RFP. That begins the handoff from SRDS to our partner provider site. And this gives you some insight into what to expect. If you want more information about the partner provider, click the link to their FAQ page. That'll give you some more information about how they work. You can anticipate that once you are handed off to the partner site, you'll be able to configure your campaign, send offers or RFPs, submit your creative, finalize your buy, submit payment, run campaigns, manage your campaign. As you might imagine, each partner is slightly different. What you can expect across all partners is that at some point they're going to require that you set up an account with them so they can facilitate ad placement and collection of payment for the ad on behalf of the publisher. We will also send you a spreadsheet with what you're sending to each partner, and when you click Submit to that partner website, that's where the handoff takes place. So I've covered an awful lot with you today. And remember, in order to get access to this programmatic data, you need to be a subscriber of the SRDS.com digital media database. If you think this data and information could be of use to you or your team, give your account manager a call, and if you need a one-on-one training session to go deeper on this programmatic functionality, please contact me, your account manager, or the service center. I hope that I've given you some more information about some of the newer and more automated ways to buy programmatically. That's it for me, and it looks like we have just a couple of minutes for some quick questions. So if you do have a question, go ahead and submit it through WebEx chat directly to the meeting host. And Mike, I'm wondering if anything has come in while I've been talking.
Yeah, and I'll just reiterate that that was a lot of really good information. So, you know, if you need, we'll have a recording of this available, and people should feel free to reach out directly to you if they have specific questions.
Correct.
Right?
That
Okay.
is correct.
One thing that came through early on was the kinds of publishers SRDS has programmatic inventory for.
Right now, as I mentioned, the majority of sites with programmatic inventory are consumer-focused. For example, BuySellAds has a lot of graphic design and tech sites, whereas ShinyAds has a good amount of automotive sites currently. As you might imagine, however, this changes regularly, so keep checking within SRDS.
Okay. Do you have to have an account with the programmatic partner iSocket, BuySellAds, ShinyAds to transact?
As I mentioned, you know, each partner is a little bit different. However, at some point, all of them are going to require that you create an account with them, excuse me, since they are responsible for facilitating, slotting, and collecting payment for the ad buys on behalf of the publisher. We at SRDS have done everything that we could to standardize and streamline the transfer to our partner to make this as seamless and as easy for you as possible.
Okay, thank you. Keep them coming, guys. Am I negotiating with the publisher of the site or the programmatic partner regarding the price of available inventory?
And that's a really great question, and I can understand why it is a little bit confusing. You really are negotiating with the publisher. Remember that the Guaranteed Direct platform provides the technology behind the buy, but you're still working programmatically with the publisher.
Great. Let's do one more. Here's a good one. Do you mark up the rates shown in SRDS?
That's another good question, and that's actually a really simple answer. And the answer is no. Guaranteed direct rates are essentially rate card or media kit rates. So you are seeing what we are being given. There's no markup.
Excellent. Okay. I think for some of these other questions, we'll address them on blog.srds.com. Watch your email for the recordings of today's session, and of course, get in touch with Tina or any of the other wonderful members of our team if you have specific questions about automated guaranteed, guaranteed direct, any kind of programmatic buying, or any other kind of media planning and buying through SRDS. We thank you for your time today. Take care.